Hello and welcome to The Financial Dad, where I, your average young adult, ask my dad, your not so average financial advisor, all of my burning finance questions. And yes, this is my real dad. This episode will cover the ins and outs of company benefits. We'll tell you what to expect and how to navigate each option so you're ready for the first job that offers them to you. So what are company benefits and why are they offered?
Company benefits is a group of different offerings that accomplish one of a couple of things. One is to help families protect themselves against problems that could happen, so it's insurance coverages. And another is one that helps families to save towards their own financial security and retirement. They're typically offered for a couple of reasons. One, many employers are trying to retain good employees. And today, to compete for those employees, you generally need to have some good company benefits because other companies do have them, and if you don't, somebody may not want to join you or stay with you for that matter. And but the second reason is that a lot of employers have a certain amount of altruism, that they care about their employees and they want to see them be safe, see their families protected, see to it that they are eventually able to be financially independent and to retire. So there's a certain amount of concern that they have for their employees, and they want to be sure that they are able to take care of themselves.
What would you say are the main, you mentioned insurance, what would you say are the main things that are typically offered as a part of a company
Sure,
benefit?
the main insurance you'll find is health insurance, because that's typically people's number one concern. Often when people say, do you have benefits, what they mean is, do you have medical insurance benefits, you know? So that's typically the very first thing that they're interested in. But they're also interested in things like, do you have any life insurance for me? Do you have term insurance? Does the medical plan have a flexible spending account? Those are the most common things that you will find as insurance coverages. Well,
let's get more into health insurance then. What parts of that might be covered by a company?
It's typical for a company to pay one of a couple of ways for health insurance. One is that they might pay 100% for the health insurance coverage of just the employee. And if the employee has a family, children, spouse, etc., they may not pay that at all. An alternative would be for them to pay some percentage of the coverage, but to include family, spouse, children as coverages. For example, they might pay 80% of it and the employee has to pay 20% of it. So it's not unusual for employees today to have to pay some portion of the cost of medical insurance for themselves or their families.
But I'm sure much less than if they were just doing it on their own.
Very, very much less, yes.
So that's great. Would you still have a copay or deductible with those types of health insurance, or is that also something that would be covered by a company?
It's pretty rare for companies to cover that. Maybe the largest and most successful companies might cover copays and deductibles. But as a result of that, most people still have to pay deductibles and copays on top of paying something for the actual medical insurance itself.
Okay. And now you mentioned a flexible spending account. I would love to know more about what that is.
Okay. Well, we just mentioned copays and deductibles. Okay. So there are some costs of health insurance that the employee family is going to assume under this particular medical plan. Typically, they would have to earn money, pay income taxes on that money, and then pay the deductible. What a flexible spending account does is it allows you to take some of your salary, put it into a plan on a pre-tax basis, so you don't pay income taxes on this money, and use that money to pay for your deductibles or for your copays, possibly pharmaceuticals, for example, drugs, prescriptions. And so it's a benefit that allows you to pay for these costs on a pre-tax basis, which reduces what it actually costs you the government effectively subsidizes a portion of what you have to pay.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's what a flexible spending account does.
Okay. Now let's talk about life insurance.
Okay.
What type or types of policies might be offered by a company?
Well, virtually always what you have with life insurance with a company is what's called group term life insurance. So it's term insurance, meaning it's really primarily for the term that you're working there. And it's a group policy. The group policy means that you are in a group of people who are being looked at as one whole. And as a result of that, you may not have to go through regular insurance underwriting to obtain the insurance. So the neat thing there is that if you have a medical problem or something along those lines, where it would either be more expensive or not possible to obtain life insurance on yourself, if you get into a group term life plan, you often can get right into the plan and you don't have to prove that you have no medical problems, which you can't prove. So that's the way that some people, it may be the only way for some people to obtain some life insurance in the event that they've got some medical problems. So group term insurance, it's for the entire group as a whole, even though each person, there's a cost for each person that's separate because of their ages and gender. But, it covers everybody, and it's typically based upon your salary level. So it might be 1 times your salary, or 4 times your salary, or 5 times your salary, and you might select which one of those it is. You are also going to pay for a portion of group term life above $50,000, basically.
Do you pay any premiums for that? Would the company pay any premiums?
Company can pay the premium for the first $50,000 of life insurance, and that would still be tax-free to you if you died or to your family. But anything above that amount, if you don't pay for it, it would be taxable to your family. So most people pay for that, for anything over that.
Okay, now let's talk about retirement planning. So earlier you mentioned a 401k. I'm wondering what the difference is, if there's a difference between a 401k or a profit sharing plan.
Well, a 401k is often part of a profit sharing plan. A profit sharing plan is always a plan where when the money is put in, it is not taxable to the employee, but it is tax deductible to the employer. The money grows tax deferred over time. And when it comes out, assuming you're over 59 and a half at that point, it is income taxable to the recipient, to the employee. A 401k, there are 2 different types of 401k, a traditional and a Roth. The traditional is where both of them are where you are putting in your own money. So the employer put it in the profit sharing. In the 401k, you're putting in your money, okay? But the difference is that with a traditional 401k, that works largely like the profit sharing plan. You put the money in, you get an income tax deduction for putting the money in. The money grows tax deferred. You're more than 59 and a half. Now you take it out, you pay income taxes on it. With the Roth 401k, when you put the money in, you do not get an income tax deduction. So it's the exact opposite there. Now, during the period of investment, it does grow tax deferred. You don't have to pay any taxes on the money as it's growing inside the plan. But when you get to retirement now, whatever comes out is income tax free. And that's a very powerful tool.
I'm sure that makes a big difference when you are in retirement, not having to pay taxes on what you're getting
Absolutely. And the younger you are when you start it, the more likely it is that a Roth 401k is going to make more sense for you. There are online tools to make a calculation to see, does it look like a traditional 401k would be better for me versus the Roth 401k for me? But there's just a rule of thumb that younger people, generally speaking, the Roth makes more sense. Older people, usually the traditional 401k is going to make sense for them.
I'm also wondering about a pension. That's something I've heard about more so in the past. I feel like lately I've been hearing more about 401ks, but I'd love to hear anything you know about pensions
Sure.
as well.
Well, a pension, first of all, is where when you get to the point of retirement, there's a certain amount of income that you get that simply goes for the rest of your life, and it's guaranteed for the rest of your life. So it's the concept, if you go back many, many years, decades ago, when people retired after 40 years, they got a gold watch and they got a pension. And that was, and Social Security, and that was, that's
Bada
what they lived
bing,
off
bada
of.
boom.
Boom, yeah. It's like the gold watch, yeah. So bling, and what happened is, over time, those pensions became very expensive. With globalization of business, it became, the competition was too stringent to pay those heavy pension costs, and companies started doing away with them, to the point where today there are very few pension plans.
Yeah.
Virtually nobody is guaranteed a retirement income for life from a portion of their money from their company retirement. So today, employees now have that risk on themselves to manage their money in a way designed to make sure that they do not outlive their money in retirement. And that has opened up a lot of investment work to figure out how to avoid that for people.
It's opened up all the possibilities.
Yep.
Lastly, I'm wondering, is disability insurance ever covered by companies?
Yes, it's a common group benefit of working for a company, is a group disability plan. And typically the way it works is that the company may even pay that for you, and it's okay for the company to pay that for you, except that you'll get a taxable benefit if you use it. If you pay for it, then it'll be tax-free when it comes to you. There's always a waiting period with disability where you have to be disabled for a period of time, usually 3 months, 6 months, 12 months before the benefit starts. The benefit will usually pay to age 65. It will never pay you 100% of your salary. There's a concept where the insurance company wants to be sure that you don't have a motivation to remain disabled. So they don't just sort of pay you the same as if you were working. So you can't really get the same amount. It's common to see 50% of salary or 60% of salary with group disability coverages. But the importance of group disability for younger people can't be overstated. It's like 4 times more likely that you'll get disabled as a young person than that you will die. And as a result of that, some people are very focused on life insurance and have no disability insurance when they're young. And financial planners are always advising them that they should look at the disability, make sure that there's disability insurance, because if you can't pay your bills, that's a terrible position to be in addition to being very sick or very disabled. So it's an important group benefit for young people.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I feel like this has been a helpful stroll through company benefits. Hope you're feeling clear on what your options are so you know which way to go. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions for us, feel free to reach us at our website, and make sure to click on to the next.